Hello, this is Celeste and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you some cards I made with a technique using the Reinkers from Distress Inks. This is one of the cards I made, but before I show you all of them, I'm going to quickly show you what I actually did to get this fantastic effect. So I have here a piece of watercolor paper cut down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I taped it down to a cutting board. And the reason it's taped down is because it's going to get very, very wet, and very wet paper warps. The tape actually helps to prevent with the warping, so that's really nice. So we take the water, spritz it, spray it, get the paper nice and wet, and then the three inks I'm going to use for this one are Victorian Velvet, Dusty Concord, and Chip Sapphire. And those are the ones I used in that card I just had shown. So you take a little bit of the inks. Okay, this is a lot of it, but we take a little bit, put some drops. This is the Victorian Velvet. This is the Dusty Concord. This is going to be like super inky. You really don't need to use very much because this stuff is super, super concentrated. And this is the Chipped Sapphire. And okay, so now my cardstock is wet. So when I flip it up, it's going to start running down. But I want something far more dramatic than that. So I'm going to spray it some more. It's going to be really messy. Pardon my very colorful towel. But we're going to collect all that water at the bottom with that towel. And you basically keep spraying it until it looks the way you want it to look. And it'll run down and make a beautiful, beautiful work of art. So that is basically the technique I use to make all of these cards. It works well with both the regular Reinkers and the Oxide Reinkers. So you can use either, and I did, so you can see what they look like. So we'll get rid of that. That's going to take a long time to dry, so set it aside. It probably won't be ready to do anything with until the next day. So the first card I have again is using those exact same colors, the Victorian Velvet, the Dusty Concord, and the Chip Sapphire. The way it kind of spread out looked very starry, so I added just a couple little star sequins and a greeting, love you more than all the stars, and then heat embossed that in silver. And honestly, I think this is probably one of my favorite cards from all of the ones that I made. So the next card, this one is using the Oxide inks. So you can see how cool it was that the color separated out. You get like the sort of chromatograph effect. It's very cool. So this one uses tumbled glass, old paper, and peeled paint. And once it was done, it looked a lot like an ocean. And I was going through my stamps and trying to find one that would work like a lighthouse. I just couldn't find anything. So my daughter suggested that I use the Realize stamp from Unity. And I stamped it out and embossed it in white, and it kind of feels like a memory or, you know, a ghost. So this one, and then the greeting on this one is from Life Touches from Unity, and it says a life that touches others goes on forever. So you could use this as like a sympathy card, or, you know, if somebody's down and out and they've made a difference in your life, you know, they've touched you. So there's that one. So the next one is probably one of my favorites. This one. Look at how vibrant that is. So this one is using regular Distress Reinkers. This is the Twisted Citron, Mermaid Lagoon, and Blueprint Sketch, which is probably like my favorite color ever. And this is the Sea Turtle layering stamp from Hero Arts. So I absolutely love how this one came out. And mahalo is thank you in Hawaiian. So if you have any friends who live in Hawaii, you know, or have lived in Hawaii. Okay, this one here is an example of what happens when you get overzealous with applying your Reinker. So the way I actually did this one is I actually ink blended onto the background the Tattered Rose, and this is the regular Distress inks. I ink blended onto the background the Tattered Rose, and then the Bundled Sage I put on the top. I put a little too much on the top, but I kind of like how it came out. So the The greeting is from a Unity Smack kit called Forget the Past. And when I first did it, I heat embossed it in platinum, and it didn't show up very well. So I put it back in my MISTI and I restamped it with black VersaFine and clear heat embossed over it, and I think that made it stand out a lot more. So, and then that is mounted on the Desert Storm cardstock. So the next one, little ocean scene. So this one's using the oxides. It's Wilted Violet, Faded Jeans, and Stormy Sky. The Earth Has Music, for those who listen, that greeting is from that Unity Smack kit that I just showed you. And the whale is from the Hero Arts Blue Whale Layering Kit. And I just love this one. It looks like the sun is coming through the water. And you know, whales, they sing. So it's pretty cool. So our next one is our steampunk card. Now this one is using the steampunk stamp set from Hot Off the Press. And I stamped it and heat embossed it in copper, stamped the greeting, and just did it in black ink so it stand out a little bit more. Put some sequins on there. The ink on this one, I again ink blended onto the background the Tattered Rose, and then I applied the oxide of the tea dye to the top. And then that kind of just bled down. It had a really cool old antique-y feel to it, so that's why I wanted to make it a steampunk theme. And this one here is just amazing. So this one is using the oxides. It's the tea dye, vintage photo, and walnut stain. And when I finished it, I just thought, wow, that looks like the sun coming through the clouds, and it just screamed sympathy card to me. So that's what I did with it. So I used with sympathy, the With Sympathy greeting from the Abundant Blessings kit from Unity, and I heat embossed that in white and mounted it on a gray card. So, and my last group of cards I actually made using the same panel. So I had one panel I used, and I made these 3 cards. So this one here, and this one. This one is my primary card. I cut out all of the hearts from this one here and arranged them on the card front. And then I didn't have enough room for this last heart, so I figured I'd make a nice, clean, and simple Valentine card. So that's the Love Bandit, and the Happy Valentine's Day is from the Love Stamping Cut from Hero Arts. So, and then I've got the hearts, and then my daughter, who is my muse, suggested that I make a card using the evacuated space, and I said, why not? So I went ahead and glued that on to a black card, heat embossed it with silver, and die cut the love from the Love Stamping Cut from Hero Arts with silver, with glittery cardstock, and went ahead and put that on there, and I thought that came out fun too. So those are all the cards I made using the drippy reinker technique. I had a really good time making them. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you and have a great day.